do we have a lot to cover today. Trailer 2 of Godzilla Kong is out, revealing the answer to many unanswered questions we had before. This breakdown will be jumping around different clips of the trailer. So much was revealed here, in fact, that we're going to drop a potential spoiler warning. That said, let's get right to the beginning, where we are taken to Egypt, more specifically Giza, where there seems to be a portal to the Hollow Earth here as well. Blue hues here may be caused by Hollow Earth phenomena, perhaps even a titan like Shimo or Godzilla. But for now, put a tab on these pyramids because it seems like these are sort of a big deal as well. You'll see why in a little bit. Up next, we find clips of an already evolved Godzilla showcasing his trademark maneuver known as a dorsal slice. Seen in Godzilla vs. Kong, now tearing through small bridges with people on them. Now, our best guess here is that this takes place somewhere in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, after Godzilla underwent some sort of evolution in his ice cave seen in the previous trailer. Note that this pink hue now suggests Godzilla is more radioactive, thus more powerful. And throughout the trailer, he seems pretty pissed. Especially here, now that he's slicing through bridges and civilians alike. This is really cool, but what is said in the trailer during these sequences is even more interesting.
The Titans were the guardians of nature, and the great apes became the protectors of humanity.
Finally, we have some deep lore talking about the history of the Titans, referred to as the guardians of nature, and the great apes as protectors of humanity. Okay, so if you saw the previous trailer, you already know that something went terribly wrong. Going back to the first trailer, this big monkey doesn't necessarily come across as a protector of humanity, but rather someone with an acquired taste for killing humanity. Another big plot indicator is this clip with Gia, who apparently has some sort of visions. In the trailer, it is implied that there is a sort of signal coming from somewhere deep inside the Earth. She feels something happening, and also Kong and Godzilla. So, hold on a second. Why can she feel it but not other humans? Quick theory for you. Any species, being Titan or human, that comes from the Hollow Earth or whose ancestors live there will have developed a sixth sense for Hollow Earth or Titan-instigated phenomena. This includes sensing nearby Titans, such as the instance when Gia knew Godzilla was about to pull up before the fleet's alarms went off in GVK. Oh, and Kong felt this too. Similarly, Godzilla, Kong, and Gia are mentioned to feel this signal. Not only that, but are also afraid of it. Now, it's a bit out of character for Godzilla and Kong to be scared of anything, but in this film we run into a big surprise. The surprises continue when we break down Gia's vision here. We'll go frame by frame. Pay close attention. The digital clock here glitches into pyramids. Ring a bell yet? Oh, not just these, also these. But it is possible that these, however many there might be, could have some sort of link or function when opening this portal here. This Hollow Earth civilization may be having their hands on some advanced tech that is completely different from anything else we know up here on the surface. Moving along to the next couple frames, and we see Gia wearing the same ceremonial garment we saw in the previous trailer. But it seems as if we are actually seeing the awakening of another well-known Titan. That has absolutely every single reason to show up in this film. Who are we talking about? Another couple frames forward and see for yourself. Yep, ladies and gents, this is no other than Mothra reappearing right before our very eyes. So yes, these pyramids, apart from having some sort of link with strange Hollow Earth phenomenon, this place may just be where Mothra laid her egg immediately after hatching in King of the Monsters. If you don't know, even if Mothra dies, which she did in 2019, all her memories and consciousness will pass to the next generation telepathically. So this Mothra is technically the reincarnated version of the one that died in 2019. Something that appears like her egg casing also appears later on in the trailer, suggesting that she had maybe already hatched into her larval form, only cocooning to her winged form in this film. Another few frames and we see the G-Man in a form we haven't seen before. We've gotten really close, but not like this. So much energy comes out of Godzilla in this clip that it mimics Godzilla's nuclear pulse seen in King of the Monsters. Note that this isn't the thermonuclear pulse, but a pulse similar to the one that killed Muto Prime in Godzilla Aftershock. Energy buildup inside Godzilla's body allows him to send a devastating pulse in all directions, capable of destroying aircraft, even killing anything nearby. This, without a doubt, is his most powerful state while in his blue-hued form. A few seconds into the trailer, we even get better shots of this blue coloration that spans the entirety of his body. We'll return to the other half of Gia's vision and move on to this clip, which we did see in the previous trailer analysis and speculated to be a Hollow Earth entry point, and now this is confirmed. Now, this portal seems to have several energy conduits that possibly artificially activate this entry without the need of a Titan to be present every single time. After crossing the energy veil, it seems like humanity has gotten the hang of Hollow Earth entry. Down here is where Kong lives, full-time, or is supposed to, until a sequence of events that will change his life forever. Starting with the acquaintance of this little fella right here, Zuko, a juvenile member of a great ape clan. Kong seems to have become fond of this little fella since it would have been the first time he saw another live member of his own kind ever since he witnessed his own parents die. Zuko then takes Kong to the lair where they thrive. Some who seem to be there against their own will, and others who make up the ranks of a great ape army led by, Skar King. So now we have some sort of confirmation that Skar King is not alone, but also is accompanied by members of a more or less similar species reigning over an empire of blood. Also, don't forget to check out our merch. And Skar King doesn't seem to particularly like Kong right off the bat. We see them square off, but first we must raise the question, why? Well, there must have been something that happened in between that probably pissed off Kong. Maybe the mistreatment of the other Kongs, maybe Skar King verbally humiliates him, it could be anything. Point is that they clash, and we finally get to see Skar King's whip in action. As mentioned in a previous episode, it takes a proficient wielder to use a whip with deadly purpose, using the whip not only as a weapon but also a tool to block any attacks. But now we have a really good view of this entire weapon, and here we see the missing piece, a crystal. This one is sharp. Once pulled backwards, this turns into a whip blade and cuts Kong's hand. We'll probably have to guess that in this confrontation, Kong gets bested and introduced to Skar King's secret weapon. This memeable reaction is quite adequate for what Kong is about to meet. This right here is Titanus Shimo, the newest addition to the MonsterVerse's roster of Titans. Its glowing blue eyes an indicator that this thing has abilities to shit your pants over, and the trailer wastes no time showcasing this. Kong is seemingly thrown to Shimo's den to be executed and gets a taste of Shimo's frostbite blast. A unique, completely fictional ability exclusive to Shimo that seems to have no equivalent in real life. Imagine getting shot by a freeze laser powered by energy and liquid nitrogen together, capable of freezing anything it comes into contact with. Interestingly, this energy can still be blocked, and some would say absorbed to some extent by the axe. This is important to note, because as we know already, Kong's axe is made of a Gojira dorsal plate that absorbs atomic blasts. The fact that this axe absorbs some of this energy may signify Shimo shares some characteristics with the Gojira species. Here we actually may get some sort of confirmation as to what happened to Kong's arm, and the thing that caused him to get this beast glove. If you look closely, you'll see that this frostbite blast injured his arm. A side effect from frostbite is that your muscles will stop working properly. In many cases, those muscles will never recover at all. We aren't sure if Kong's arm will never again work properly without the aid of the beast glove. After all, Titan biology is drastically different than that of humans. But we'll guess that the main function of this bioenhanced anatomic seismic thunder glove not only aids Kong's crippled muscles underneath, but also makes his attacks more powerful. Shimo did do quite some damage to Kong with just one blast. Back to Gia's vision, we see more Shimo here. This frame captures Skar King, Kong, who seems to be in the middle of a portal or yet another frostbite impact, and Godzilla squaring off against a colossal Shimo. Yeah, this thing is huge. It's on all fours and rivals the height of Godzilla himself. The frostbite blast doesn't just harm Titans, but is also used to freeze the surrounding areas, as seen here on the coast of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, suggesting that Shimo and Skar King will use this emergence point to invade the surface. It is here where Godzilla, Kong, Shimo, and Skar King will have a 2v2 confrontation, the fight to defend the surface. Yeah, for an issue that originated in the Hollow Earth, this has become Godzilla's problem now. Later in this trailer, we do hear that Godzilla and Kong aren't necessarily friends, and we've been saying that for a while on this channel. Seems as if Kong will inquire for help from a not-so-receptive Godzilla who happens to be in Egypt, explaining why Godzilla is going trigger-happy with Kong once again. Somehow, by whatever means or mediation necessary, Kong and Godzilla will have to once again work together to bring down this new threat. But hold on a second. Godzilla has already evolved here, suggesting that somewhere in the middle of the film, Godzilla will evolve to a more evolved form as a response to that signal we mentioned earlier. Something was up and Godzilla was only getting ready, evolving to a new and one of his most radioactive and potentially powerful forms yet. There's still more to cover! Gia's vision reveals something about Skar King and Shimo that will be a huge factor throughout this story. If you look closely at these frames, you'll see that Skar King's blue glowing eyes and Shimo's are somewhat synced. Here is where the mystery of the glowing eye effect on Skar King may be revealed. It seems as if this eye glow may be some sort of indicator of Skar King's influence on Shimo, an influence enforced by the possession of this crystal, seemingly taken from Shimo itself. This also may explain how Skar King was able to amass such a large army, by using Shimo to punish those who don't submit. Towards the end, we have more fun sequences with a couple of frames showing Shimo in action, Kong throwing punches at Skar King's face, knocking his teeth out. That is one big tooth, dude. Maybe karma for knocking out one of Kong's teeth earlier. This whip proves to be useful yet again by being able to coil around and hurl entire chunks of buildings accurately towards Kong. This Beast Glove is seen in action for the first time here, breaking through tons of concrete, metal, people maybe, without a problem. This is random, but did you catch Zuko getting held up here by Skar King? That's right, this scrappy fella joins the fight as well. Also in the Hollow Earth, seen hurling a giant boulder right at another Kong's face. That's right, folks, we'll finally get to see a full-on fight in the Hollow Earth. Potentially even Godzilla, Kong, Skar King, and Shimo floating around in a battle royale that defies all the laws of physics.